Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rav Eliezer Melamed Shlit'a. I hope everyone had a wonderful Shabbos. I don't know about you, but after teaching the sessions last week, I had, even myself, a different observance and appreciation of the Shabbos because we all have what to learn. So we will continue where we left off another week, God willing, of learning about the essence of Shabbos. So this chapter is called Zachor v'Shamor. Shtei mitzvos yisodios ma'amidos es Shabbos, Zachor v'Shamor. There are two fundamental mitzvos that keep the Shabbos, that sustain the Shabbos. One is Zachor, which is remember, and Shamor is to safeguard. Mitzvah saseh, mitzvah lo saseh. Positive commandment and negative commandment. Mitzvah Shamor inyana lehimana mikol malacha. The Shamor aspect, to safeguard the Shabbos, that deals with refraining from melacha. And that's a word that we're going to hear a lot to tell you that when we say not to work on Shabbos is a misnomer. It's not the word as work. We don't refrain from work. We refrain from melacha, which we will get into. But let's just say for now, creative activity as defined by the Talmud. Shebechol sheishes yimei ha'maaseh mutal adam lidog l'tzarchav lishivo shel olam. Because all 6 days of the week, a person has to worry about taking care of your needs, work, household, family, etc., and also your position in the world. And on the Sabbath, on Shabbos day, we are commanded to refrain from these types of activities. And through this, what happens is we have an open cavity or an open space in our soul. So by refraining from melacha, where we create this void, we create this vacuum, what do we fill it with? We fill it with the Zachor, with the positive aspect of remember Shabbos, which means that we have to remember the sanctity of the Shabbos, and we have to connect ourselves to the foundations of faith. So just to mention parenthetically, people often associate Shabbos with negativity. I can't do this. I can't go out. I can't be here. I can't be there. I have to always say no, no, no. But when you say no, and what's left, the question is the real Shabbos is what are you filling that with? So here we're saying you have to fill it with the positive. We have to enhance the positives of Shabbos because that's how we connect with our Maker. The Rav continues. These two aspects, these are two sides of a coin. They're so intertwined that they're almost one. And only when it came down to the world were they defined as two independent separate mitzvos. That says, Zachor v'Shamor b'dibur echad namru. Zachor and Shamor, remember and safeguard the Shabbos, were actually said in one saying. We say it also, we have this cruise in L'chadodi, Zachor v'Shamor b'dibur echad, hishmeanu kel amichad, etc. Mash'ein ha'peh yachol ledaber, mash'ein ha'ozen yachol lishmo, the Gemara says. It was said in such a way at the same time that no mouth can speak it and no ear could hear it. V'kach l'mandim b'Torah, shebaseres ha'dibur shebeparshas Yisro, and we're told that in the Ten Commandments, which we hear the first time in Parshas Yisro, it says, Zacharos Yom HaShabbos L'kadsho. There in the fourth commandment dealing with the Sabbath, so it says, Zachor, you should remember the Shabbos, and Aseres HaDibur shebeparshas V'eschanan, and the second time we have the Ten Commandments, which is in Devarim, Parshas V'eschanan, it says, Shamor es Yom HaShabbos L'kadsho. So one time it says Zachor, one says Shamor, but the Gemara says they were actually said at the same time, but indicating how they are indeed intertwined one with another. Mitzvah Zachor, mitzvah saseh, remembering the Shabbos, that's a positive commandment. V'sharsha b'midas hachesed v'ahava, and it's rooted in kindness, it's rooted in love. L'uma zos mitzvah Shamor hi mitzvah lo saseh, shesharsha b'midas hadin. Safeguard the Shabbos involves negative commandments, which is rooted in the midah of justice, with attribute of justice of Hashem, where God has to set boundaries to keep us from falling into bad places. We always look at positive commandments on a higher level as those of negative commandments. For by performing the positive commandments and observing them, which are actively done, which we do things that Hashem wants us to do, that brings us closer to God. However, the violation
side of the coin is much stricter with negative commandments, because when you violate a los haseh, a negative commandment, which is violated actively, the punishment and the damage that is done spiritually to you and to the world is far greater. Mitzvahs Zachor kshur yosel lebrias olam Shabbos bereishis. Shenemar Zachor es yom Shabbos lekadsho. The positive commandment of remembering the Shabbos Zachor is more connected to creation of the world than the original first Shabbos of creation, because it says you have to remember the Shabbos to sanctify it, and then it goes on to say, Ki sheishes yomim asa Hashem es hashamayim es haaretz es yom es kol hashamam vayirach b'yom hashvi'i al kein berach Hashem es yom hashabbos v'kadashei. We're familiar with this because we say it in Kiddush, but the immediate psukim that follow and discuss Zachor discusses creation. Shamor, on the other hand, is kishur yosel etias Mitzrayim. The negative safeguard the Shabbos, the things we don't do on Shabbos, is more connected to the Exodus. Shenemar Shamor es yom Shabbos kadsho ki eved hayisav eretz Mitzrayim v'yotziacha Hashem alekecha misham b'yod chazaka v'zrona tuya al kein tzivacha Hashem alekecha lasos es yom haShabbos. That when the Torah mentions Shamor, there the Torah immediately mentions not creation, but mentions Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Exodus from Egypt. The connection to God and the purpose of the world and Shabbos, etc., was already there from creation. However, only once the Jewish people went through the iron crucible of the slavery in Egypt, the subjugation, only once they become forged into a nation can they understand what it means to be subjugated under someone else, and what it means also to refrain from that and to be free, real freedom, so that you can be in touch with your spiritual part of your existence. The word Shabbos itself actually is a hint to Zachor and Shamor. Hamashmos apshuta shvisa memalacha Shamor. Shabbos shvisa, which means refraining or resting from malacha, that's Shamor. V'hamashmos apnimis lashon teshuva shebeshabbos anu shavim el yisodus ha'amuna v'zeh inyan Zachor. And on the other hand, Shabbos is related to the word teshuva, which means, we discussed this when we did a little bit of Rosh Hashanah, that means to return. Shabbos, Shavim, we return to the foundations of faith, and that's Zachor. So it's a very interesting way to remember this, is that Shabbos is Shavisa, resting, refraining, and Shabbos is also Shuva, returning to our true essence of self, which is what we need the Shabbos for. We like to use words like recharge, regenerate, and reconnect, especially in today's day and age. By disconnecting, that actually allows us to reconnect. So whatever level of observance you're on, I would always highly recommend to at least maybe mandate a certain amount of time, which could build over time, and say, you know what, we're going to completely disconnect for X amount of, if not for the whole Shabbos, if it's not possible for you, not yet. Say, Friday night, a few hours, and then it'll build into Shabbos day, it'll build into Shabbos afternoon, and then you'll realize how much more you're able to reconnect and really be in touch with your true spiritual self. So thank you for listening. I hope everyone has a great week ahead, and we will see you here next time as we study Peninei Halacha, teachings of Rav Eliezer Melamed Shlit'a. Have a wonderful day.